Welcome to another edition of the Postgame Recap. I'm Jarret Johnson, and on a night when the number 17 Red Raiders shot just 28% from the field, they were still able to defeat a tough, really game Abilene Christian squad, 51-44. It was a close game for most of the game. I think in the first half, the Red Raiders went on actually like a 19-2 run and kind of pulled away, but man, Abilene Christian came roaring back early on in the second half, actually took a lead and put a real scare into Texas Tech. I mean, the game was tied, going back and forth really late, like in the final 5 minutes. Really well-coached Abilene Christian squad that did a good job of kind of mucking up the game, making it really ugly. You know, of course, Texas Tech is without Kevin McCullough. Terrence Shannon was also out, both of them with ankle injuries. So that really hurt the Red Raiders. But also, I mean, Abilene Christian, you got to give them credit. They played really well. They were 5-0 coming into this game, and they looked like it. They had some size. They played really good defense, pretty good on the boards. And Texas Tech struggled, and some of their best players struggled. I already mentioned that they shot. Overall, they shot 28% from the field, just 2 of 15 from 3, and struggled from the free throw line, though they did make some late. 25 of 37 from the free throw line. Like I said, they made some clutch ones late. The free throws they had to make late. I think, Mac McClung is a guy who really appears to be streaky. I know that might be an overused term, but I mean, he really does seem to be really hot or really cold. He seems almost unstoppable, or he can't make, a shot to, save his life, it seems like. And tonight was one of those where he really struggled from the floor. He was just 1 of 11. He did make some free throws that they really needed, 6 to 7 free throws. But he was 1 of 11 from the floor and 0 for 4 from 3. But I tell you what, Kyler Edwards, for the second game in a row, stepped up and really, made the plays that made the difference down the stretch. He finished with 19 points. He had team high 7 rebounds. He also had a couple steals, a block even. Kyler Edwards was very good. He didn't shoot like just great, particularly well, but he wasn't terrible either. He made, like I said, some shots they needed. He had a really nice alley-oop, like nasty jam there late. Tech had some emotion, made some plays on both ends of the court where they kind of separated themselves from Abilene Christian there. And, that was the key. I think overall, though, man, there's no way I think you walk away from this game or your chair or whatever feeling really impressed with Texas Tech. Look, they're number 17 in the country. They're 5-1. So not terrible when you look at the big picture, if you're just looking at it from the outside looking in. But when you watch this team, they're just not there offensively. They still play very good defense. They're athletic. They play hard. But the offense they have a long way to go offensively for them to be a contender in the Big 12. That's just the truth. Now, it will help if they can get Kevin McCullough and Terrence Shannon back, but hey, McCullough, I mean, he was still on crutches. I didn't see Shannon, but McCullough was still on crutches. I think they both could be weeks away. I mean, Shannon maybe next week. I don't know if McCullough will be back next week, but he could be a couple weeks away. He may not be back for the opener on December 17th against the Big 12 opener against Kansas. So, and that's concerning. He was one of your best players at the end of last year, and then once he does come back, he's got to get into shape and all this. So it's like I don't expect him to come back and be like the Kevin McCullough we saw right at the end of last season. I mean, that's just unrealistic to ask that from him. So, this team is going to be a work in progress. There's going to be some frustrations, especially with the level of expectations. I know Tim Tadlock's kind of seen that, where the expectations for his team now is to compete for the Big 12 title and go, not just compete, but go to a World Series almost every year, or it's a big failure of a season. But those are the expectations that success brings, from the fan base, and just really everyone in the program. So that's where Coach Beard and Tech basketball is that the expectations are really high, obviously going to the Final Four just 2 seasons ago and being within seconds of winning a national title, to now where, being a top 20 team just isn't good enough, it seems like. It seems like, our expectations are much higher than that. I know mine have been. So it's going to be interesting to follow along. I think early on, this team was crisp. There was a lot of movement in the motion offense, a lot of sharing of the basketball, and right now you're seeing a lot of standing around. And that's just a death knell for the motion offense. I mean, it literally is called the motion for a reason. A lot is predicated on screens, hard cuts, correct cuts, the right angles in order to get open shots for your team. And we're just not really seeing that on a consistent basis, which is why they're struggling. But then I have to say, there were a lot of times that at least Wednesday night, that Tech had some open shots and they just couldn't knock them down. So, bottom line though, it's much better to be having this kind of conversation after a win over a quality Abilene Christian team. And I know Abilene Christian, most people are going to, who don't know, are going to scoff. But if you look at all their stats, their net ratings, RPI, whatever you want to call it, they all were really high. They're undefeated. They've been beating teams by double digits every week. I think I would not be shocked to see them in the NCAA tournament. Not shocked at all. So that was a good team that Tech beat, but they just did not look very impressive in doing so. So we'll have to see. They looked impressive at the end against Grambling. We'll see how they do coming up. Texas A&M Corpus Christi in Frisco, that game is scheduled for. So we'll have to see, how they look against them. But bottom line is, number 17 Red Raiders got another win. They're 5-1 this season, and we'll go on to the next game and see how they are. And then, boy, just about a week away, they open Big 12 play against Kansas, and then we'll really get an idea of where they're at. Followed by a trip to Oklahoma to close out the Big 12 play for this month. So we're going to get an idea really soon of just how good this Texas Tech team is, in my opinion. And hopefully for the Red Raiders, they'll get two of their starters back. So with that, I want to thank y'all for watching, and until next time.